Hi, and welcome again to Do You Speak English? My name is Zoran, and I'm your host. As we continue to travel and adventure around this wonderful world, one of the most convenient ways to travel is, of course, by airplane. And all of us who have been in airports understand that when you have difficulty communicating with people, it can cause some unwanted stress. So, let's take a look at some language that will be very useful in airports. Words that you will use and words that you will hear. The first thing that you do when you get to the airport, of course, is check in. You go to the desk where your airline is located, and you check in and let them know that you are here. This is called the registration desk. And as you continue on, you need to know where your departure will be. This is simply the time or the place from which you will leave the airport. And on the other side of the departure is the arrival. Yes, what time or which place will your arrival be? Sometimes, if you are flying in a long distance, you may have a layover. A layover is an airport that you need to change planes at. So, for example, you fly from here to Paris, from St. Petersburg to Paris, you may have a layover somewhere in Germany. So you will take two planes, not just one, to get to your final destination. Also known as a stopover. You can't get on your plane without a boarding pass. A boarding pass is a small piece of paper that is used and given to you by the registration people. In the United States, we call it a boarding pass, whereas in the United Kingdom, they call it a boarding card. And of course, if you have a lot of luggage, you don't want to carry it all with you on the airplane. So what do? You have to check your bag. And you usually do that when you check in. You check in, you get your boarding pass, you get your suitcase to the people who bring it on the airplane, and you pick it up afterward. You don't want to check everything, of course. You want to have something to carry on. You have a bag that you carry onto the airplane with you, and in that bag you can carry whatever you need to entertain yourself while you fly. If your bag is too heavy, it is overweight. And these days, airlines charge more money if you have too many things in your bag. Overweight or oversized. Let's make some room and take a look at some more words. If you do not have a layover, which is nice, you will be on a direct flight. This means that you fly to your final destination without any stops. Oftentimes, if you fly at night, all night, these flights are called the red-eye or red-eyed flight. Simply meaning that you will not sleep very well, and when you land, your eyes may be red. It's always nice when your flight is on time. That is, it leaves or arrives at the time that you expect. But also, sometimes, your flight may be delayed. For whatever problem, the flight does not leave according to schedule. As you are flying through the air, you travel through time, really. Because the time zone that you leave from may not be the same that you land in. And there may be a difference of a few hours, and you need to adjust your time to be on the local time. And as you're flying, the people in the airplane who assist you, bring you coffee, tea, snacks, these people are called flight attendants. They attend to your needs while you're flying. So, let's land. We go and arrive to the airport where which is our destination. And the first thing we need to do, if we don't go through passport control, is to go and pick up our bags. Where? At the baggage claim. And of course, as you're flying away, you may want to protect your bag and go to baggage wrapping, in which they wrap your suitcase in plastic. Well, quite a few words. Let's take a look at what these words are in Russian translation. Check in, registration desk, arrival, boarding pass, check a bag, carry on, overweight or oversized bag, direct flight, red-eyed flight, on time, delayed flight, local time, flight attendant, baggage claim, baggage wrapping. Well, that is a mouthful. When we travel in airports, we often have to follow rules. We have to do this. Can we do that? Should we do this? What I'm using here are modal verbs. Modal verbs are a part of speech in which a verb works in tandem with another verb, but it shows either obligation in the case of have to, so you are obliged to do something. It is necessary. It is a rule. For example, I have to fly to New York. Have to plus infinitive. Have to fly. Can is a modal verb in which you use in tandem with another verb that helps to see if it's possible. Can I do this? Is it possible? Can I use the bathroom in this area? Is there a place where I can use the bathroom? Should is a modal verb which signifies advice or opinion. For example, you should see this film. It's really great. Should plus infinitive see. It's my opinion that you should see the film. It's my advice to you. Let's take a look at the plasma and see how these verbs work. Have to plus infinitive, can plus infinitive, and should plus infinitive. As I've mentioned already, have to shows necessity. It's necessary to do something. Can shows possibility. Is it possible? Can I use this flight voucher to fly to New York? Should shows advice or opinion. Let's take a look at some example sentences in which we use these modal verbs effectively. You have to take your computer out of your carry-on at security. Have to plus infinitive, take. This means that it's necessary. It is a rule. You have to take your computer out of your carry-on bag at security so they can scan it individually. You don't have to take off your shoes. Don't have to plus infinitive, take. So this means that it's not necessary. It's not necessary to take off your shoes at security. Should I bring a book with me to read during the flight? Should, modal verb plus I in the question form, bring infinitive. Should I bring a book? This is asking, is it a good idea? Should I bring a book with me to read during the flight? Well, it doesn't seem too complicated, but let's take a look and see how well you understand this structure with a small example test that we have prepared for you. How would you react in these situations? So there is a lady working at the check-in desk that tells you that your bag is overweight. What would you say? A, do I have to pay more for that? B, I don't have to pay more for that? Or C, I should go to my gate now? Of course, the answer is A. Do I have to pay more for that? You are asking, is it necessary for me to pay more for that? The other two variants don't quite work. Next one. The situation is this. The person working at security tells you that you can't bring a shampoo bottle on board in your carry-on bag. How would you react? A, do I have to check the carry-on? B, can I throw it into the rubbish? C, why can't I bring it with me? The best answer is B. Can I throw it into the rubbish? You're asking, is it possible for me to throw it into the rubbish and get through security without any problems? Here's another example. The person working passport control asks you what the purpose of your trip is. How would you react? A, do I have to show you my passport? B, I am here as a tourist. Or C, should I take off my shoes? The answer is B, I am here as a tourist. The purpose of your trip, the purpose of your visit to that country is tourism. So you just tell him or her that that's what you're doing. You're here as a tourist. Let's think for a minute that we are in a situation. Let's imagine that we are at the airport, and we can teleport now to the airport, where my friend Dasha is always on the scene and ready to help us get through customs. Dasha, hi. Could you tell me where to get my bags?
Just go straight ahead, down the escalator, and there will be signs directing you.
Oh, I see. And where do we clear customs?
You will pick your bags up first.
Should we have our passports out?
You should have your passport out and your declarations form totally filled out before you get into line.
I see. You know, my friend here is continuing on to Puerto Rico, and we were wondering if she has to go through customs.
Travelers who are continuing on to another country will check in over there and be directed where to go next. Their bags have been checked through.
I see. Are there any restrooms here in this area?
Yes, right over there after you pass through the line.
Okay, well, thanks, Dasha, and goodbye. Let's take a look at a little bit of the language that I used in this dialogue with should. I asked Dasha, should we have our passports out? Now, what I mean by that, should, asking for advice or an opinion, our passports out. Does she think it's a good idea to have our passports out of our pockets and ready to present to the people at passport control? But you'll find no passport control here on Do You Speak English, because we are here to help you get through your adventures in an effective and communicative way.